That was short and precise tonight. Good evening and welcome to Chillaxcin. This is for those of you joining us for the very first time. Chillaxcin is that part of the series where you just sit back, you relax, you grab yourself a cup of tea, maybe a glass of water with something in it. You know. So tonight, we're chillaxing, and I'm bringing Jason back, not not by choice, because this is his program and he demanded it. So he's joining me tonight. Also joining us tonight is Natasha Williams, and she's a corporate communications professional. She's joining me tonight for us to discuss. Hi, Natasha. We're going to discuss corporate sponsorship. We're not hearing you, Natasha. Are you hearing me? Yeah, but we're not hearing you. Can you say something? No. Natasha seems to be having a little bit of trouble tonight. So we're going to discuss corporate.
Now, can you hear Natasha? Can you speak?
Yes, I hear you.
Are you hearing Natasha, Cindy?
Yes, I'm now hearing her.
We're doing a little something here.
Oh, okay, something fancy. Natasha,
No, not too fancy.
Natasha, thanks for joining us tonight as we explore corporate sponsorship in swimming. You are also a swim mom or ex-swim mom, right? Which is it?
Ex-swim mom.
What did she say?
Ex-swim mom.
Ex-swim mom, right, and corporate communications professional. Oh, okay. So tell me, we're talking a bit about corporate sponsorship in swimming. That seems to be a little discussion that's been going around for many years, and especially when big meets like Olympics come up, and we have people are like, okay, who are the sponsors for these athletes? What do you think? What is your take on corporate sponsorship?
Corporate sponsorship on who, whether it's
athletes or whether it's for a product, an event, it's always challenging. I've heard persons complain about what is the blueprint.
Just 1 second, because we're getting some feedback. I'm not sure from where.
No, what happened is I'm not getting her. You hearing me, Cindy?
Yeah.
All right, because I'm not getting her audio for some reason, so I'm trying to see if I could get her via phone here, but the sound not coming across too clearly. So
Natasha, try it without the phone, because I think we're hearing her. Try it without.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's better?
Yes.
Much better. Yes.
Great.
Hallelujah.
Yes. So we apologize. So yes, Natasha, tell me.
Yes, what I was saying is that corporate sponsorship, whether it's for athletes or whether it's for an event, has always been a challenge. And persons often ask about what is the blueprint to engage corporate sponsors. And I find that it's very wary or worrisome that something as in sport and as our elite athletes, that corporate sponsors don't jump on it readily as we would like them to, and as a support for Trinidad and Tobago. So that has been, as you mentioned, has been a wear and tear for an athlete's parents, for being an avid supporter of the sport. And what it is, I guess, what sponsors need to take, I guess, have their social responsibility to do their part.
So, okay, so let me ask you. So, because you said a lot, I would like to know, in your opinion, whose responsibility or who should the burden fall on to seek corporate sponsorship? Let's just say for a swimmer, for example, should it be on the swimmer and the parent, or should it be on the swimming body as a corporate entity or as a group to get that corporate sponsorship and to rally behind the athletes, whether it's in swimming, football. What do you think?
I think it's both. It's a give and take. It's 50-50. Not the swimmers so much because these swimmers already have enough on their plate. I think
Mhm.
what the swimmers' part is that they do their best
Right.
because really and truly it's a brand, and it's in order for the corporate companies to buy in, they're buying into a brand. So the swimmers now, as the brand makers, it's up to the persons who support them. So the parents, as well as the swimming fraternity, comes as if they are the swimmers promoters, you want to say, or marketing personnel. So you are actually have to market your brand. So you believe in this sport, you believe in this swimmer. This is the person who you're branding, this is the person who you are marketing. So I believe it's half and half. It's the parent's responsibility in conjunction with the swimming fraternity.
All right. I have known parents who have tried to get corporate sponsorship. I mean, they have like gone all out and
Right.
nothing. So they have had to come out of pocket each time. So
Yes, I
to
know
say
that
to
too.
them, yeah, but it's your kid. You need to do more. I think it's a reflection to me on how we view sports on a whole.
Um, yes, to a point, Cindy, but also remember, from a corporate perspective, it is mileage. They're all about the dollar,
Hmm.
about they. I think some of them are willing to give, but the question they have to answer to most of them, they have to answer the board of directors is that what is the mileage we get out of this? What are we getting back? Now, as a swimmer, as an athlete, you don't get back tangible as dollars. But if it is that you have persons coming to your product, viewership. So let's give an example for a swimmer. You would probably next question will ask, how does as a swimmer, how does that translate? But a swimmer, when you brand yourself, we have the new thing called the social media.
Hmm.
So you're branding yourself in social media in a particular way. And to that page, you bring in viewers. So in the corporate mind, once you bring viewers, it is potential product users for them.
Hmm.
So that is the way it's the give and take, or this is the way you market it, or you market each person. I agree with you that yes, we're not like other Caribbean countries would not name that they jump on and they motivate. But let's be real. We have a society of jump on the wagon when the wagon is going. If it is they're not seeing somebody else doing it, they're not doing it. But I think that could be turned around if we take the initiative. If it is a athlete, I'm not going to pinpoint just swimmers, is not serious about how they market themselves. Because I think when you're in this for the long haul, right? It's only in for the you're not here just it's not a playground, but so you put in the effort, you put in the work. I know that persons would like to say that corporate sponsors are interested in events. Yes, I would say so. They would put that as first priority because they're getting back a dollar value. And that is why I think or I shouldn't say think. This is why I, I would like to highlight that some of or most of our swimmers, with the exception, I guess, of Dylan Carter, which I see his page is verified, and you put up, as the athletes progress along the way. This is what they want to see.
Yeah,
Um,
but let me just interrupt you a minute, Natasha. I
Right.
hear you, but I disagree to some extent because we
mhm.
have athletes who have been proven themselves time and time and time again and still having to literally beg, I mean beg for money. And Brian took the words out of my mouth because I was just about to say maybe we should form a swim juve band, like a juve section, because corporate sponsors tend to, I mean, to sponsor that type of, and don't get me wrong, cultural events are also very important and represent who we are. Uh,
Right.
But sports athletes, I mean, my son used to swim, and
Right.
talking
He
about
does.
many years ago, and
Mhm.
not that many years ago, because I am not that. I mean, I'm like, maybe 2 years ago. I just don't want to age. Let's not get age and years mixed up here tonight, right? But he used to swim, and we had the problem back then where
We
people
do.
just weren't willing to support. And I can tell you, some,
Cindy,
yes,
I would like to chime in. Itching to chime in for the longest while, but think about it too. Now, I agree that corporate Trinidad and Tobago could do a lot more, but
hmm
we have to do a lot more. When your son used to swim,
when you say we, define we.
we, as in the persons who in the sport, those who in administration need to do more. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when you were sending out your letters, etc., right? That sponsor may have been getting 25 letters from the same team,
hmm
right? And it's not like we in who have been in administration and are in administration have to take some of the blame, because we don't put out like concrete proposals as we should to the corporate Trinidad and Tobago. We feel when the meet comes in April that we write them 3 weeks before and expect them to put it in a budget. So if we as a people not taking sports seriously,
Seriously. hmm
right? And that's our culture. We look quick
hmm
to go on we have keyboard warriors who quick to go on Facebook and see the athletes not doing this and the athletes not doing that, right? But I think it comes to the planning by those who are in authority, who have decision making. The sports administrators need to work harder, and then because it's our culture to only, as you say, a bandwagonist kind of culture, right? Sometimes sponsors will jump on only when you win, because that's the only time they hear about you, right? We use Carnival, but Carnival people are much more organized than sports. You ever go to some of those Carnival events and see the logistics and things in place to get that working, right? We in sports take it too much as games, and that's why we are where we are.
So then what's your suggestion? Because what do you suggest?
I mean, well, it's $1 million question, honestly, because I think at the end of the day, those involved in the front, I mean, we have to make certain linkages with certain sponsors. There are some sponsors in swimming that have stayed around, but they have stayed around a lot of times because they have an interest in the sport. They like swimming and they like the fraternity, right? But outside of having friends who may like swimming, sometimes it's difficult to attract additional sponsors because aquatics sometimes is perceived as disorganized. How am I getting value for money? Why would I
Well,
want
that's what Natasha is saying,
why
mileage.
would I want to associate my brand with something that seems like it's disorganized?
What do you think, Natasha?
I agree with Jason. You have to also remember most of these corporations that we are targeting, and I know everybody would target, and we talk around, Cindy, in your time, I know because, as swim moms, swim parents, we talk about who we approach, and they're getting, as Jason said, numerous amount of applications for sponsorship. But the thing is, they have accountability to where they're going to spend this money, how they're going to spend this money. Because being in the corporate background, we do have a corporate spend, because it's corporate social responsibility. There is a budget for that.
Right.
But you have
And
to look
isn't
at,
there like, not to think, but isn't there like a tax write-off and some tax benefit as well?
yes, there is a tax write-off, but
Right.
still, it is not just I'm going to give us at 25,000 because I could always get it back. They still have to say from their end, okay, we're giving it to them and we're going to support this and this athlete from there, because we have seen that, okay, this person has done this, and by doing this, we are going to get visual, whether it's every time the athlete appears, that they're going to get signage. Every time the athlete goes on
Yeah,
TV,
but
you're going to see
Natasha,
it comes down to dollars and cents in that way.
yeah, but then
And
I think in order to get the athlete needs the money to get to that elite status. So then it's a sort of a catch-22, because you're saying, well, we need mileage, but in order for me to give you mileage, I need the back in. So it's like
that is true.
how you
But
understand?
what I would do, what from learning from the experience, from my experience to now, as Jason was saying, is that it's only when the team has to travel, we're looking for sponsorship. Why
Correct.
not start building a relationship? That's the best thing. Build a relationship, build your
Relationship.
portfolio. As athletes, you have you should be building a portfolio.
So
And
then
therefore keep seeing the person you send. Let's give an example. An athlete sending, I'm calling random, no affiliation, BP. I know my child is going to swim in Worlds come next year. All now, so BP is supposed to be getting numerous build up. This is what he's doing. This, but you're not asking for sponsorship as yet. This is what you're doing. You're kind of introducing the person. So as it comes up, you know when it's time to ask for that dollar, you'll be able to put that dollar value, and it's not going to look like, okay, you're only approaching us when it's time, when it's crunch time, and not from and they can see some sort of organization leading up to it. The fall part from it is that I don't know if it's changed now, but I know ASAT used to be a little bit disorganized in terms of, getting things done. And we had little internal politics in terms of things not being organized, 1 minute, last minute, this kind of thing. Those are the things that corporate TNT or any organization would look at in terms of stability. So if it is that we have in-house instability, it shows outwardly, then me as a corporate, we don't want to put our names next thing something comes up and we have to withdraw.
yeah,
Because once they
Natasha, I
put their
think
name out there.
I think we're giving corporate a lot of credit because
Huh?
here's
Sure.
what I'm gonna say. Listen to what I'm saying.
Sure.
I don't think, and this is just me, I don't think corporations are that involved or are that to know, you know what? ASAT, the board members in ASAT, they don't get along or they are a
No,
little
no,
bit
no. I'm not talking
they,
about the board members, but you can see if it is that's why you have a corporate communications unit, because their job, it may not come up now, but if it is that I'm going to invest my money, I have a team who's going to look at the background, how many times it is that we change president, if there's anything that looms in, is not, I'm not making it personal to any
no, I'm not
particular
saying so. I'm just saying
identity,
I'm
but the body, it really
I'm
takes,
using because
they
let's
look at that.
listen.
So it's all about branding. So it's not just branding your individual swimmer, but you also have to brand the fraternity as well.
Mm-hmm. I think because going back to when, I mean, I was very involved in swimming. We
A
would
long, long time ago.
about 2 months ago, um, we would the teams would perform very well, and the next year we would still have no support. So to me, I'm hearing you, but there is something else that's not adding up, and I think part of the problem is what we also touched on, both you and Jason mentioned it, is that ASAT as a body, there's no support for the parents because the athlete themselves, I mean, they're working hard, they're swimming, they have school,
Correct.
the parents working too, and the parents belong to a club where they're paying a membership fee. So that there needs to be some sort of, even if swim teams, because if ASAT isn't doing it, then maybe the club should say, you know what, let's try to rally behind our kids in our own pool that we have here and see what we can do. You know what I mean? Or come together, different swim clubs come together and do, because we cannot just rely on the government. We
No,
shouldn't. The
we
truth is,
should
I mean,
not.
that's the truth. We shouldn't have to rely on the government for funding for athletes. I don't think so.
No,
Um,
you're
there
quite
are
right.
other things the government should do, and that is in terms of schools, make sure that the schools and the pools, you know what I mean, that they are outfitted, those government schools and the students, and whether it's the curriculum and the kids, you know that. But in terms of funding at that level, corporate Trinidad needs to get involved and recognize that this is something viable and the kids are working hard. Yes,
And let me just bring in one thing because I know we get into that time.
mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, okay, the government bodies have to do things, right? But we as a people too have to learn to appreciate our people.
Correct.
I'm going to use Dylan Carter as an example.
Well, he's our swimmer in the Olympics.
He's a Commonwealth medalist, right? He's a world championship medalist, right? He's a two-time Olympian and a lot of things additionally. Why it is I don't see Dylan Carter in any sponsorship anyway? Why don't I see him on any billboard? Why isn't he the person, the face of swimming? Why aren't we telling people to aspire? See what this guy has done. Let's aspire. Why we're not using the brand Dylan? And we missed the opportunity with George as well.
Yeah.
Right? And you telling me that our premier athlete, who Sportsman of the Year award, and a million other accolades, and despite whatever the associations, you telling me that we in Trinidad and Tobago can see that we have this athlete, and how can we positively use this brand?
Exactly.
Yes, it's a problem in the association, but it's a national problem we have where people have they don't appreciate the work that athletes have to do.
They don't respect the work that goes into taking someone to the Olympics. So saying that they need mileage and they're looking to see what more they want. I mean, he's.
But as I said, I think it comes back to I do not think we as a fraternity have given a fair shot collectively. Individually, you would have gone through it. We have not collectively in the last 1,002 years given a collective shot to see how can we enhance the income that we coming into the sport via sponsorship. We haven't done it. So we could sit here every day and blame corporate Trinidad and Tobago, which needs to do better, don't get me wrong. But until we fix the house, we can't tell people how to spend their money.
So here's what's going to be tonight. Natasha, you are in charge. I'm putting you in charge. Going forward, I mean, we can't do anything about the past, but going forward, I mean, and I will help. Jason knows that. If he reaches out to me and says blah, 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 I will help in any way that I can, because swimming is I mean, it's close to my heart. But we really need to do better, and this is a very light, segment where we sit back and we laugh and we drink and stuff. So I hope people not feeling a little burdened. I hope they're drinking, because I am. Yeah. So, Natasha, you have any closing words of what advice you would give to parents now who are looking on, who have swimmers or any other sport? What advice would you tell them? Would you give them?
What I advise is for the parents, don't be discouraged. Please encourage your athletes to do their best and continue with the sport. For us as parents, let us rally together, because we know that we're not getting it for the government. The government, of course, will jump on the bandwagon, as Jason would say, after we have successfully laid the path. But let us see how we as parents could come together to brand our athletes, brand them, see how we could get mileage for them on television. Let's look at new innovative ways. We have a Ministry of Sport. Let's see if we can get an audience. I know that though we're not looking for sponsorship, but if it is that we could get a segment on television to where we could showcase and highlight, that's the start of a branding. We have social media. Let's get them. Let's get ads.
This is the segment on television.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, national TV. Let's go big. When you turn it on, just before news, we highlight a swimmer. Just before news, we should have been highlighting an Olympic athlete, so that persons would know that, these are who are going to be representing Trinidad and Tobago. So for swimming, let's start with our swimming fraternity, and hopefully others will follow. And let's build the brand as what swimming is known as. Swimming is known as an elite sport. Let's bring it back to an elite sport where all bases are covered. And
so maybe that you just said something. Maybe that's the problem. Corporate probably looks upon swimmers as, well, they have money already. Why would they need? Because it is viewed as an elite sport, and I have been told that when I was seeking sponsorship from corporate, someone said that to me. Like, swimmers have money. That's why you're all in that sport. It's true.
Even if they have money, right? There's a trend around, it's red, white, and black. We like to sit long in front of the TV, and when the athletes do shipperness, we have
Exactly.
everything to say about it. All
Exactly.
of us have a part to play. All of us who don't like to go and support me, who don't like to buy tickets and go to any football match, all of us, we have a culture in this country that stinks when it comes to sports. And
Generally, agreed. No respect.
until we in the association too, we don't understand what needs to be done. I use the word "we" very loosely. We don't understand what needs to be done to get it done. I mean, transparent, because I had to talk about transparency, accountability, all those things, right? We have a National Aquatic Center now. Before they say it was facilities, we have it, and what?
And
right?
nothing. So it's a mentality
We have
that
to
needs
better.
to change. We need to change our outlook, and let's try and get and change it.
Cindy, I have one more thing to say. I have some things looking strange on my computer here. So I want to tell people, just in case after this, something happens with the live, please log back on to Trinbago Freestyles Facebook and YouTube channel and check us back, because I'm seeing something looking off.
Natasha, thank you so much for your input. I hope something comes of this, and so that those that are coming up could benefit in some way, and we can get corporate
and I'm available, Cindy, and I'm available, Jason. If we're doing this, let's do it right, and let's hit the pitch while it's hot.
Natasha, come back with that. Let's do this again.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Very well.
Cool.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Bye.